The grift here is take people, capture people on culture war arguments and move them to the right so that they become right wing economically as well. That's the grift.
When the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part.
The grift of the anti-left, anti-woke culture warrior right has no end in sight, and their latest commercial venture is a university known as the University of Austin, or UATX, not to be confused with the University of Texas, Austin. But yeah, this is a full-blown university that a number of famous personalities among the culture warrior right has now started, and it was officially launched today on Twitter with this video that I'm going to show you. And well, you're going to see some names that will be very, very familiar for anyone who has been involved in this whole culture warrior online debate. So let's watch. Wow. I apologize for any viewer who got a stroke while watching that, but yeah, let's look at their website for more exciting info. So that's the website, uaustin.org. Note that they still don't have a .edu or edu. That's because it's not yet accredited. So right now it has the same legitimacy as PragerU, okay, or Trump University. And I suspect the Trump University model is really what this is going to be about. Remember, this is all a commercial venture. This is all a grift, and I'm going to explain it further as we move along. So, we're building a university dedicated to the fearless pursuit of truth. Yes, let's put classical Western civilization, because we're not Western chauvinists. No, not at all. We are done waiting for the legacy universities to right themselves, and so we are building anew. Remember, the main issue that these people have, or rather the conspiracy theory that they promote, is that basically culturally countries like the US are now dominated by the authoritarianism of the woke left. And the institution that basically promotes this the most is academia. So they have big issues with academia. And I should add, this has been an argument from the reactionary right for a long time. I don't know how familiar some of you might be with neo-reaction, which was a sort of uh, an ideology that kind of emerged in the I think was it like the early 2010s. It kind of grew in parallel with the alt-right, like the original alt-right. And neo-reaction basically had what they called the cathedral. And the cathedral was basically composed of uh, the universities and kind of left-wing media like the New York or liberal media, I would say, because they're not really left, but liberal media like the New York Times, etc., and kind of the celebrities, Hollywood, etc. Um, so that was kind of the main impediment to progress. This mythical cathedral of left wing liberal thought. So these people have basically taken that same premise from the neo-reactionary movement and adapted it into I guess, a more consumable worldview, because neo-reaction basically wanted to establish a new monarchy, which obviously I think these guys just want a fascist government in power. But anyway, yeah. So Let's look at the board of advisors. Pano Canels, I have no idea who he is. Niall Ferguson, of course, a Western chauvinist author. Bari Weiss, who canceled herself out of the New York Times using a bullshit argument. She's awful. She's just absolutely awful. Heather Heying, she is the wife of Brett Weinstein, and together they form the dynamic duo of the Dark Horse podcast, which the last couple of months have basically just been promoting anti-vax and, horse dewormer bullshit. Joe Lonsdale, I'm going to speak a bit more about him, but he's basically a venture capitalist, co-founder of Palantir, which apparently was one of the other co-founders was Peter Thiel. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have kind of a similar worldview. Arthur Brooks, he was the former president of the American Enterprise Institute, a libertarian think tank. You know what's really funny about these people? And I'm going to explain the grift in no uncertain terms. These people like to present themselves as being like the free-thinking, unorthodox thinkers when on all subject matter that involves cultural issues, right? But they complain that the humanities in universities promote these views. But they will never criticize the fact that economics is thoroughly right-wing. A standard economics curriculum is a right-wing curriculum. I should know because I studied economics. So you will get the standard neo-Keynesian synthesis view of how the economy works. You will get no subjects on, for example, ownership, workplace democracy. None of that is included in a standard economics curriculum. So if you're going to complain that universities as a whole are really left-wing, but you're also not going to complain that the single most important discipline, and when I say important, I don't want to sound arrogant in the sense that I think economics is more important than all the others. What I mean by this is that economics has the most influence in policies that are actually implemented in almost every country on earth. That's a fact. It shouldn't be that way. As an economist, I think economics should be less relevant, not more relevant. But the fact is that it is way more important than, gender studies. That's the fact. So when they complain that universities are captured by all this, by the gender studies, the gender ideology and all this woke BS, why are they not complaining about the orthodoxy of the economics department? They don't care because that's the grift. The grift here is capture people on culture war arguments and move them to the right so that they become right-wing economically as well. That's the grift, in no uncertain terms. And that's why it's not a surprise that you will have these unorthodox thinkers from every other subject except economics. All the economists who sign up to this are actually incredibly orthodox. In fact, so orthodox, a lot of them are libertarians. And that's as close as you get as a literal reading of the Bible, the economics version, if there was a free market Bible. So Arthur Brooks, we'll see a couple more. But anyway, more names. Ayaan Hirsi Ali, always involved in these projects as well. Steven Pinker, of course, my bête noire. I don't know all of these people, but of course, Jonathan Haidt, who started his own kind of precursor to this because he started the Heterodox Academy, which also was supposedly about, including different viewpoints in university. These people, like the argument that people like Haidt always give is that something like 4 out of 5 college professors describe themselves as left-wing. And it's like, oh, well, it should be half and half. No, it shouldn't. I'm sorry, it shouldn't. Because that's ironically the same argument that they oppose when it comes to there should be half and half split in parliament between men and women, or there should be 50% minorities in any business. They're opposed to that because then they say that means that the subsequent institution will be less efficient because you're taking less capable people from minorities. This is the critique against affirmative action. But then basically what he's calling for is affirmative action on ideological grounds in universities. That's just it's supremely hypocritical, supremely. And he seems to forget that the reason that there aren't many conservative thinkers in academia is because over the past 30 years, conservatism has become fundamentally anti-intellectual. So, back in the day when conservatism did have some intellectual legitimacy, the 50s, 60s, even, some of the 70s. But then after that, name me a major conservative thinker of the past 20, 30 years. Just one. Like really groundbreaking conservative thinker. There aren't any. Anyway. Oh, Larry Summers, also supremely unorthodox economist. This guy is basically like the world works on the model that he has built for the world. He's the quintessential liberal centrist economist. What else? Who else we have? Oh, Andrew Sullivan. Andrew Sullivan. He sort of promotes eugenics in the past. He has just absolute clown who should not be involved in anything intellectual. Yeah. Founding faculty fellows. Oh, of course. Peter Boghossian, Ayanhirshti Ali, and Kathleen Stock. Look, Peter Boghossian is the perfect example of how this grift works, because people like Peter Boghossian get on this culture war grift train, and then no one really remembers what exactly they were about before. So can anyone tell me like any contribution that Peter Boghossian has accomplished for his discipline? The answer is no. No one remembers what he's done because he hasn't. He's only famous because of his right-wing grift. Now we get to the good part, the programs. UATX is developing the first curricular model that synthesizes a rigorous liberal education with an education that prepares the next generation of leaders to renew the promise of American society. Our curriculum is being designed in partnership not only with the world's great thinkers, but also with its great doers. Visionaries who have founded bold ventures, artists and writers of the highest order, pioneers in tech and leading lights in engineering and the natural sciences. All right. So they've established their summer program. Well, that's what they're going to do. Then the graduate program in entrepreneurship and leadership. Again, what I just said. Really, this is about creating very anti-woke entrepreneurs who are going to make money, and then with that money, recycle this into more anti-woke ventures. So the undergraduate college will only be established until 2024. But this is so hilarious. So this is their summer program. The Forbidden Courses. Just give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. How stupid do you have to be to just see the word forbidden and, oh my god, this must be some amazing set of knowledge that no one knows about and that only they are capable of transmitting it to me. Holy shit, you must really have a low opinion of your own intelligence to fall for this shit. Our Forbidden Courses summer program invites top students from other universities to join us for a spirited discussion about the most provocative questions that often lead to censorship or self-censorship in many universities. Students will become proficient and comfortable with productive disagreement. Instructors will range from top professors to accomplished business leaders, journalists, and artists. I repeat, where is your fucking socialist economics professor? Name one. Because if you really want debate, you're not just going to be debating, the right-wing views versus the liberal views. Come on, bring a socialist in. Oh no, they're not going to do that. God forbid their little bubble gets burst. entrepreneurship and leadership. God. Yeah, this is a university for sociopaths, basically. If you aren't one when you join, you will be one when you leave. I can absolutely guarantee you that. But anyway, one thing that really reminded me of was their previous um their previous grift, and I made a video about it. And thankfully, that video kind of ended up in the nether, and that's a good thing because it means that that institution basically just kind of fizzled out, and that institution is FAIR, the Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism. And this was, again, this supposed, I mean, they've done nothing. They've done nothing. They haven't appeared in the news. They haven't done shit. But look at who their board of advisors is. Does this look familiar? Hmm. Oh, same faces, it seems. It's almost the same people. Uh, yeah. More anti-woke. Steven Pinker, Douglas. Look, the ones who are here that haven't jumped to the University of Austin will at some point. I can absolutely guarantee you. I'm sure that Michael Shermer will at some point give some summer course in thinking, in reasonable thinking or some shit like that. There you go, Andrew Sullivan, Bari Weiss. This is all a grift. A grift that manages to get a lot of funding. That's how they can continue it. So there's a lot of people putting money into this. That's why ventures like PragerU are so successful. Yeah. But I just don't think this is going to go anywhere. I honestly don't. I don't think this is going to represent any real risk to like standard academia. If anything, it's just going to be, it's going to brand them more than they like. Anyone who still thinks that these people aren't the grifter clowns that they are, at some point they will notice, and at some point their association with the University of Austin will be a liability, I think, and that's a good thing. And yeah, whoa, a lot of people here associated with Jeffrey Epstein, I must say. Steven Pinker, Larry Summers. Yeah, I wonder if Epstein money somehow runs through these halls. But oh, I could become a founder. Donate. Oh, this is totally not a grift. Has requested is awaiting a tax exemption determination from the IRS. At present, it is fiscally sponsored by Cicero Research, a tax-exempt entity organized under. Yeah. Yeah, totally not a grift. Totally not a grift. Yeah. So there you go. And like I said, I don't think this is going to be successful, to be honest. It's just gonna they're caught up. They're so self-absorbed into their own myth of themselves that they've created, that these are the valiant crusaders for truth, that they've lost all their sanity in terms of how they think other people view them. Because the world is not Twitter. The world is not Substack. And so I think the idea that this can be a university that can like shake up the model of higher education in the US is completely wishful thinking. Just complete wishful thinking. But yeah, in the meantime, maybe I should sign up for that amazing forbidden courses. God knows what amazing links between race and IQ I can learn about, or how slavery wasn't that bad, or how the European conquest of the New World was a good thing. I'm sure those are all the stuff that why gender is a, maybe Dave Chappelle should give a should be an invited professor one day to teach us that gender is a fact. On that note, if you like this video, please like, please share. Most importantly, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.